Okay, so today we're going to connect three stories that, on the surface, have absolutely nothing to do with each other. We've got a shakeup in the tech world, a wild declassified CIA document about consciousness, and a really controversial government overhaul. But stick with me, because there's a hidden thread that ties them all together, revealing something pretty fundamental about how our world gets changed. Let's see how it all connects. Let's just start with a number. $300 billion. That's not a country's GDP. That is the staggering amount of value that a single company lost in one single day. This event kicked off a week so bizarre it felt like it was challenging the very fabric of reality itself. And right at the center of this crazy week were two players from opposite ends of the universe. On one side, you've got NVIDIA, the undisputed trillion-dollar king of AI hardware. And on the other, DeepSeek, a scrappy little startup, basically born from a dream and a, relatively tiny $6 million investment. It's a real David and Goliath situation, but on a whole other level. So first up, a giant stumbles. This is a story of that giant, that underdog, and one heck of a weird week that made a lot of people question what success even looks like. So how did this all go down? Check this out. On Monday, DeepSeek just kind of appears. No big party, no fireworks, just a quiet launch. Then, fast forward to Wednesday. While this little startup is quietly making waves, boom, NVIDIA, the giant, takes that mind-blowing $300 billion hit. The timing was just surreal. And then Friday hits, and this is where the story takes a turn into the Twilight Zone with a connection nobody saw coming. And here is the pivot, the moment that connects it all. It turns out DeepSeek's challenge to the status quo felt an awful lot like the work of another pioneer, a physicist named Tom Campbell. You see, while DeepSeek was pushing the boundaries of AI, Campbell was part of a project that was pushing the boundaries of, reality itself. It's like they were both asking the same question from totally different angles. What are the limits of what's possible? And that question leads us right into our second story, the consciousness connection. Yeah, we're about to dive headfirst into some declassified CIA research on something called the gateway process. It's going to get weird. So back in 1983, the CIA actually commissioned a report to figure out this gateway process. The whole idea was to use sound, specifically a technique called hemisync, to get the left and right sides of your brain to, sing in tune, to get them working together perfectly, with the goal of unlocking altered states of consciousness. Now, to even get your head around this, you have to look at the kind of far-out concepts the CIA was taking seriously. I mean, we're talking about the idea that the universe might be a giant hologram, that consciousness isn't just stuck in your skull, but it's a form of energy that could exist on its own, which could, lead to things like out-of-body experiences. So here's the absolute linchpin of the whole document. It suggests that consciousness isn't just a passive thing, just watching the world go by. No, it's an active force, an organizing principle that can literally bring a specific reality into being. I mean, think about that. It's a radical idea. If you could alter your consciousness, you could alter reality itself. And look, this wasn't just some philosophical coffee talk. They had a system, a step-by-step process. They used techniques like hypnosis to get past the logical brain, biofeedback to teach people how to control their own bodies, those hemisync audio tracks to get the brain waves in sync, and then really powerful visualization exercises. It was a recipe for hacking your own mind, designed to be a repeatable, trainable skill. So that's our second model for changing things, reshaping reality from the inside out. Now let's switch gears completely for our third and final story, which takes a much more direct approach. Our third story is a whole different ballgame. We're moving from the metaphysical to the political, with the Government Disruption Playbook. This is all about reshaping reality through raw, top-down power. The source material describes the creation of this temporary task force called the Department of Government Efficiency, or, yes, DOGE. According to the document, it was led by Elon Musk under the Trump administration, and its mission was crystal clear: radically slash federal spending and shrink the size of government, period. And the actions described were, they were drastic. For instance, the source notes that USAID was declared a criminal organization with a serious push to shut it down completely.
At another agency, the Office of Personnel Management, or OPM, a 70% workforce cut was put on the table, and senior staff were reportedly locked out of their own offices and data systems.
But maybe the most traumatic move of all was a mass email sent to over 65,000 federal employees. And the subject line was just 2 words: fork in the road. It offered them 8 months' pay to quit, right then and there. If that sounds familiar, it's a tactic that directly mirrors the approach Musk took when he took over Twitter, a direct attempt to reshape an entire workforce overnight. As you can imagine, this didn't exactly go unnoticed. The source material details a massive backlash. You had multiple lawsuits popping up, judges stepping in with temporary restraining orders, public protests across the country, and it started a huge debate over the separation of powers. Critics argue that you can't just do this with executive action. You need Congress. Okay, let's take a breath. We have just covered a lot of ground, right? A tech startup, a declassified CIA doc, and a massive government shakeup. So let's tie these 3 threads together and look at what they represent. 3 very different ways to shift worlds. First up, we have the DeepSeek model. Let's call this purpose-driven innovation. This is your classic bottom-up story. A small, focused team proves you don't need billions of dollars to change the world. You just need a better idea and the flawless execution to pull it off. This is change through creation. Then there's the gateway model, consciousness exploration. This is the complete opposite. It's the ultimate inside job. It's the radical belief that by understanding and changing your own perception, you can literally change the reality around you. This is change through perception. And finally, we have the Doge model, executive force. This is changed by, well, brute force. It's top-down, it's aggressive, and it uses incredible power and wealth to just tear down an old system and rebuild it based on a singular vision. This is change through disruption. So here's where I want to leave you. We've got these 3 powerful forces for change, all happening around us, all the time. So the big question is, which one do you think will truly shape our future? Is it the quiet power of innovation from the ground up, the mysterious power of consciousness from the inside out, or the raw, undeniable power of force from the top down? Something to think about.